Chalupa, Alakazam, Kapow, and Bippity Boppity Boo. Welcome to World Explorers, where we are teaching you how to build magic systems. Woo! I went too high. Woohoo!
You went way too low there, but that's the one we're going with.
Oh, hi, everybody!
Hello! Welcome to World Explorers, where we build crazy cool worlds, except not today, because it's the first of the month, and you know what the first of the month means, Isaac?
Magic System Month!
Yeah, well, I meant more like it's when we talk about an element of world building in detail.
And today's is Magic Systems.
Makes sense, it is October.
What?
It's October. It's the month of witches and magic and stuff.
I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking I wanted to do a Magic System episode.
And I'm gonna make a fall themed one for next month, so hopefully she'll try. I have an idea, actually. I have one planned. But anyways, we're not there yet. That's a month away. We're doing magic systems, and Isaac is leading. Yay!
Yay! Okay, so magic systems. Where to start? I'm thinking we start on what makes for a good magic system. Actually, no, I should explain what a magic system is so that we're on the same topic, because not everybody completely understands what exactly a magic system is.
Plus, we like the tangent.
Plus, we like the what?
Tangent. So we need to know what we're talking about so we stay on track.
Yeah. So, a magic system is essentially some sort of element that you have thrown into the story that is either usable by characters or is somehow built into the world. Like for example, a magic volcano that will randomly spew sparkle dust that turns people into pigs. Like, that's a magic system. Not so much usable by characters, maybe it is to a point, but we all have an understanding of what magic is, but magic is not necessarily the only type of magic system you can have. Any sort of sci-fi sort of elements thrown in are also magic systems. A teleporter machine, that is a magic system.
Or in Star Trek, the magic microwave.
I haven't seen that much Star Trek.
They have a microwave. This spoils nothing. They have a microwave in which they like click buttons and the food appears. It's very overpowered. I don't understand.
Convenient.
Yeah, they have that.
Okay. And even if the movie or show, book, whatever it is that you're looking at, specifically and explicitly states that the thing they have is not magic, like when Avatar says it's not magic, it's bending, it's a special art that you can use to move elements around. For the sake of the story and the definition of magic system, that is still a magic system. Even if they don't call it magic, it is a magic system.
I could even say, like, under this rule that, like, a normal story in which you don't, like, I guess a modern story, like a real-life story, a story that could happen nowadays, still kind of has its own magic system if you have a character who has a unique set of skills, like, say, a firefighter or something, and he has his, like, his strength and his training and stuff. That is, in a way, a magic system. Those are things you can call upon to use.
Yeah, that is...
It's I'm a weak one.
That's, like, barely in the realm.
Yeah, but I'm trying to...
The point is still there.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure those who are only interested in writing, like, real, more modern, contemporary is the word, more contemporary stories still can realize that there's something to learn. So I'm trying to keep our contemporary writers, okay?
Okay. Anyway, so even a gun, just a simple gun, is a magic system. The magic system for a gun is you pull the trigger, gun goes bang, it loses a bullet. You only have so many bullets in your gun.
Mhm.
Once you run out, you have to reload. That
Mhm.
is the magic system for a gun.
Mhm. Pretty simple.
Now, magic systems, in terms of complexity, can range from super simple, like a gun goes bang, reload, to extremely complex, um, like, what is a really complex magic system?
A book no one will ever have heard of that because it was my dad's friend who wrote it, where the magic system was so complex I ended up quitting the book because
Oh,
I was just
okay, so
it's too
Brandon
much.
Sanderson's Mistborn. I haven't read the book. I want to, but I believe
I've
the
never
magic
even
system in
heard
that
of
one.
it.
What?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, well, it's a New York Times bestseller.
That
It
means nothing to me.
it's a really, really, really well done book from what I understand. Anyway, so from what I understand, the magic system in that book is it uses the different elements on the periodic table to do
Mm.
different things.
Hmm.
And because you have so many different things you can do with all these different elements, you have a very complex magic system.
Yeah.
That's where the magic systems become more complex. Or you could go with something a little easier, like the four elements in Avatar,
Yeah.
which do get more complex when you really break them down because there is a lot more layers to it than just punch, throw, fire.
Yeah.
There's a lot of details as to how exactly they create fire, where it comes from.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm not going to
Newsflash,
explain all of that right
yes.
now because we're not going to spend the entire time talking about how bending works.
Because that's not the
Uh,
purpose.
anyway, so that's what a magic system is. Best way I can explain it. Because,
To
yeah,
summarize,
yeah,
all that, pretty much just a magic system is an element in your story that has rules, and you just want to make sure that those well they do
there's
like
a reason I didn't say rules,
well their
because not
rules
all magic systems have
they have
rules.
expectations. It's expectations.
Yeah.
They're thing
You know it
elements.
when you see it, usually.
Yeah, there are elements in your story that has expectations, and you have to be careful because if you break those expectations, you better believe you are going to have some angry, upset readers on your hand.
Yeah. Now,
Hence why no one likes
another.
the second Avatar series because they broke
Oh yeah,
expectations.
they broke so much of
Yeah.
that magic system, um, and a lot of other stuff. But anyway, uh, so there are two different types of magic systems. There are soft magic systems and there are hard magic systems. Soft magic systems are basically where the rules are a little more vague or loose. We don't entirely know how the magic works. It's still mysterious to us. And then there's hard magic systems, which are uh, detailed, explained. We understand exactly how it works.
Mhm.
So, for example, uh,
We could use our
Avatar
I mean, we
has
could
a
use our
hard magic system. What?
we could use our favorite examples, which are Lord of the Rings versus C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy.
Actually, I want to use Lord of the Rings as an example for both.
Oh, okay.
Because Lord of the Rings actually ended up using both a hard magic system and a soft magic system, and they complemented each other really well in the story.
Meanwhile, C.S.
So,
Lewis's
for
Space
example,
Trilogy.
when I was talking about the mystery thing
Yeah.
in the magic system, leaving something mysterious, uh, let's look at the One Ring. What
Mm,
can the One Ring do?
whatever it wants.
No, that's not the answer.
I know.
The
It can
answer
turn you
is,
invisible, and it can connect to the dark evil one.
yep, it makes you invisible. It,
Also,
it lets Sauron see you.
I have a complaint about the One Ring, which I feel like was underutilized. The One Ring, right, is supposed to give you control over the other rings. So why in the heck could like the 10 Knights kill someone who is controls has the One Ring? Is it because they're not master of it? Is that
I
it?
don't know. I'm sure Tolkien had a reason. Read the Silmarillion, it's in there somewhere.
Oh, but that's like I have tried, and then I gave up.
That's fair. It's basically just an encyclopedia
Yeah.
for Lord of the Rings. Anyway, so the One Ring, it can turn you invisible, it shows Sauron where you are. It it expands your lifespan,
Mhm.
and it turns you into Gollum.
Yeah.
Like, it's very clear. Like, we have a very clear understanding of what the ring does and how it works.
I disagree.
That is a hard magic system. Now, what can Gandalf do?
Can he do whatever the heck he wants?
Pretty much. Gandalf it has a soft magic system where where there are rules, but they're not as rigid as the One Ring. Now, there are two different types of utilizations you can go with when creating these magic systems. When you have something like a hard magic system, that's generally seen as a tool that the characters can use to do various things. For example, you have your hard magic system. It's a gun. It's like the audience understands the rules. You only have so much ammo. Must use it sparingly. Must use it wisely. And know when to use it.
Yeah.
Now, a soft magic system is far more mysterious. We don't entirely know how it works. This is why Gandalf gets the soft magic system, and we don't understand how Gandalf works, because whenever he shows up, it's sort of unclear as to what he's going to do. Like, for example, when he said, "Look for me on the third day," when they were having that battle it's Helm's Deep, right? I'm not
I thought the third
I'm not
day
an
thing
avid
was.
Lord of the Rings fan.
Is third day Lord of the Rings?
Anyway, so Gandalf brings along an army to come and help out the hobbits and everyone else.
Yeah.
Whenever he's doing things like telling a moth to go find an eagle, or he's casting a spell to fight the Balrog.
I'm sorry, I just never realized how ridiculous that really was, that he sent a moth to go find an eagle.
Yeah, it was very, very strange. But anyway, so we don't understand how Gandalf works exactly, but we just know that there's a lot of different reasons as to why Gandalf is there, but he is there, and his magic system is there to add a sense of wonder to the world, add a sense of mystery. And the fact that we don't understand what all Gandalf can do sort of increases his wonder, and it makes him seem much more experienced.
Also, plot convenience.
There is also some plot convenience, but Tolkien, for the most part, was able to handle it pretty well. That is something you need to be aware of when using a magic system, is do not have any sort of... Try not to have plot convenience or Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina is sort of when something comes out of nowhere and helps the heroes. Like, for example, oh no, we've been beaten down, the villain's about to win. Well, don't worry, I have this other superpower that I've never used for some reason up until now that I'm going to pull out of nowhere and win the fight for us.
Yeah.
That's Deus Ex Machina. Don't do that with your magic systems. Establish the rules ahead of time.
Oh, this is also a good point to say that, like, any rules we state in this podcast could be void and nil if you want them to be. Because if you want to pull out the Vox Mana and you do it well, then go ahead. But you gotta do it right.
Number one rule for writing is, for every rule, there is a creative way around it or an exception.
Yep.
That is the one rule for writing that I follow.
Yep.
There are no other rules that I 100% follow.
Yep.
Because they all have that exception or that way around it.
Yeah, but I feel like
Even
we have to
if you
make a
don't know
note of
what
that,
they
like,
are.
every one of these podcasts, so people don't, like, you told me this, but I read this story that did it really, really well, and I really enjoyed that story, because, because they did it well.
Yeah. Here's the thing, if anyone tells you there is only one right way to write a story,
don't read
listen
their
to them.
book.
They're wrong. You can maybe listen to their advice, see how they go about writing the story, but don't think that is the one way to write, because there's a lot of people who might be discovery writers who write the story as they go, don't know exactly where it's going to go. They have a rough outline. And then there's architect writers who have to build the entire story and get every single plot point laid out and then write it.
Yep.
There's a lot of different ways people write stories, and there is no one way to write.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, back to magic systems.
Sounds good.
Now, there's a common criticism of soft magic systems, which is soft magic systems don't have rules, therefore they are bad. No, soft magic systems do have rules. I want to make that very clear. Even if you don't know what all the magic system can do, if the soft magic does X, and characters are using X for whatever reason, the audience now knows that the characters can do X. And so, let's say in your soft magic system, one of the characters' ability is teleport. And then all the characters are now thrown into a prison. Oh no, they can't escape. The audience is sitting there saying, wait, one of your abilities is teleport. Why aren't you doing that? And unless you have an actual reason explained and given as to why they aren't teleporting, that character should be able to teleport.
Now, I can give...
See, that is the kind of rule that a soft magic system has.
Yeah, so I can give an example of a story where, despite it being very well loved, it fails in this quite a bit, and that's the Harry Potter series. And the sense that it introduces a bunch of different things into the series, and then it never uses them again, even though you're sitting there like, why aren't they using that? Yeah, time turners is the big one.
Ghosts. I haven't even seen Harry Potter, but I'm well aware of the time turners.
Yeah, ghosts, like the whole idea of ghosts is like never really acted upon very well. What are some, like, there's so many things in the Harry Potter world where we just sit there like, why aren't we? Also the introduction of like weird things like cursing your name and stuff like that, where you sit there like, why is that? Or another big one is the ability to track if an underday wizard uses magic and then they can't really, and you're very confused. Like, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it's just broken. You sit there like, how is this working? 'Cause it's not. And yeah.
Yeah, I can think of one other example. Of course, this is the one I come up with. My Little Pony. There was there you have a very soft magic system, but usually when they introduce a spell, they are able to reuse that spell multiple times throughout the series. Character can teleport. Well, now we know the character can teleport, so she does it all the time. Levitating objects happens all the time. Transfiguration happens all the time. But sometimes the writers seem to have forgotten that they've introduced certain spells. Like, they say in one episode, oh no, sorry, we have no spell to grow hair. Growing hair with magic causes problems. And then, even though in an earlier episode, not only was this same character able to grow a mustache on other characters, but was able to do it on a dragon who is covered in scales.
Mm.
So clearly, yes, you can grow hair with magic.
Mm.
That's the one example that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Don't do that. You get frustrated.
Yeah, don't do that.
People get frustrated.
Anyway, so soft magic systems do have rules. Now, I have something that makes for an interesting magic system. There is this problem with magic systems where it's pretty much always you've given your character a tool, so the character can now. So now basically the character can shoot fireballs. Okay, so so one of the things that makes stories more interesting is to have some sort of limit to your character's magic abilities. Either some sort of a cost or limitation or
something tied to it that they have to have, or
yeah, like for example, a gun is the very classic sort of magic system where it's a consumable. If you run out of bullets, your magic no longer works.
Or mana.
Uh,
That's why mana is such like a popular thing.
yeah,
Because magic
here's
is
the thing.
OP and you need something to stop it.
Yeah, here's the problem with mana. It's like it's so cliche and overdone, and
Oh
it's
my goodness,
pretty
Isaac,
much
what is up
always.
with... Yeah, but sometimes it just works.
Sometimes it does. Here's the thing about cliches. If a cliche is done really, really well, it stops being a cliche really, really fast.
Yeah.
And it goes back to being a trope.
Maybe just don't call it mana.
You just gotta.
Or maybe do.
It's
And
just if you're doing something like your chosen one story. Listen, if you are doing the chosen one story of the kid who is destined to save the world from the evil overlord of fire, and this kid was trapped in an iceberg for 100 years. It was frozen for 100 years, but just woke up in a war-filled world. Those are like all cliches, but they were all done so well that Avatar was one of the most well-written series.
Isaac, I just realized something we probably never really thought about, but just proves the point, like, about cliches and, like, how you can do them in such ways that they're no longer cliches. Captain America and the Avatar have a very similar line with, like, the whole icebergs and coming out in a different time, and you don't think about it. And I only make this connection because we're pre-recording episodes and we just got done with a superhero episode, which if you haven't watched, you should go watch it. But this is the only reason why that suddenly clicked, that like they're both got stuck in icebergs.
Yeah, the only other frozen in time thing I was thinking of was Spyro.
Yeah.
The Legend of Spyro specifically.
Yeah. See, lots of examples, but they're so great and different in their own ways that like, who cares if they share an element? If anything, it makes them more cool now.
Yeah, I mean, tropes are just story building blocks, and a trope is literally any part of a story. A trope is the main character.
I know.
That is a trope.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm trying to like destroy the word cliche, like calling something cliche, because nothing's truly cliche, unless it's badly done.
I say if it's badly done, you can call it a cliche.
Yeah, but I hate when people are just like, this idea is instantly cliche. I'm like, no. If you do it badly, then it becomes cliche. But you sit here going like, this is so cliche, and I'm just thinking like, no, it's not, because you haven't done it yet. If you do it badly, then sure, but we haven't done it. Who knows? It could be epic, in which case it's not.
Yeah, it's like
you can't call it a cliche.
I still say that things are cliche, but you can, if you do it well enough, it will stop being a cliche and go back to being a trope.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to magic systems. Where were we when we got trailed off into tropes?
Oh, I don't know. You're the one who has the outline.
I have the outline in my head. I didn't have time to make a proper one.
I gave you 2 weeks. Actually, that's a lie. I gave you a month.
That's true.
Actually, technically 2, because I had my month to plan, and then you had yours. You had a full 2 months.
I was planning on doing it within this past week, but this past week has been hectic.
I just hear excuses.
Hey, the past month has been hectic. Does that make the excuses a little better?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Oh. It's very cliche of you, Isaac, to say that you had a busy month. I didn't have time for it.
Anywho,
sorry, we had to have our mid-episode criticism and.
Anyway, so
only this podcast.
Where did we go to next?
Magic systems.
Please cut out all of the ums.
I cut out some of them, but I never cut them all out. We have magic systems. We talked about the 2 different main types, and yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, I remember. I remember where I was going to go with this. So, these limiting factors of magic systems. We were talking about the mana, and Aragon did something like this where it's the very cliche story element where you go and you use too much magic and you wake up with a hangover the next day, and that is the cost of the magic. That is a very boring cost.
Yeah, it worked
that is
for
just
Aragon.
character strains himself and then comes back. Yeah, Aragon wasn't bad.
I like
Aragon was a little cliche, I will say, just a little bit. Still done well. Still.
Well, actually, can Aragon really be considered cliche when it's like when it starts like it's the book that made so that genre so popular that other books became cliche?
It is the start of cliches.
Yeah. That's like saying that Harry Potter is a cliche wizards go to school, like a wizardry school book, when Harry Potter was the one that started the thing that made it so popular that it then became cliche. Like, you can't do that. You can't call Harry Potter the cliche one because it started it. You can't call Aragon the cliche one of this because it was, like, the predecessor.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, that should be a rule. They got to do it first, so they got to do the boring versions, okay? Yeah. They just beat each other.
I mean, Aragon took a lot of ideas from other stories.
Well, yeah, other stories.
Like Dragon Riders of Pern.
Yeah, every story does that, but...
Anyway, back to magic systems. So, one of the things that you can try and do is come up with some sort of limiting factor other than you wake up with a hangover the next day after you use too much magic. For example, if I could say you can fly, and that is the magic system. And that's already pretty cool, and you could come up with some interesting ideas as to where you could go with that story-wise. Now, what if I said, you can fly, but only when both of your parents are sleeping?
That's weird.
Yeah, and suddenly you're thinking, oh, well, this new rule has sort of thrown a curveball at me. Okay, so what do I do now? Do I move to the other side of the world so that I can fly all the time while they're sleeping?
Parents.
Or... It's like, what happens when the parents die? Does that count as sleeping?
Yeah, I think so. I would just off the parents, and then you fly whenever you want.
Yeah, it's like, so, you can start coming up with these, new rules. That's sort of a silly one, but, generally I can only use so much power until I feel tired, trope cliche thingy.
It's a trope.
It's boring. It's boring in comparison to you can do X, but it's like, or maybe there's some sort of a cost. Like there's a book out there. I can't remember what it's called, but the magic system is you can use the magic, but every time you do, one of your family members will die.
That sucks.
And so suddenly there is a very deep cost to using the magic. And you don't know which family member will die. It's just you use the magic, your family member dies. Okay,
alright, we could do like a serious one where I have, I don't know if I'm ever going to use this character idea. I might, but I have this character in my head who's a person who has the ability to take people's pain away, but by doing so they store it into themselves and they feel it. Like, just the feeling. They just get the feeling of it. They don't actually, like, have it, but they get the feeling of whatever pain they take. And then they have to put it into something else. So, something else living. Usually it's plants is how they get away with it. So they'll kill plants constantly. But you could also do it to people. But there is always that in-between process where you feel the pain, too. And you feel it, like, magnified because you're experiencing it really fast and stuff. It's an idea that But that's...
Yeah, so that's a good example of a cost. But that's something where there is a slightest problem where you could say... The author can always just say, he did it. He used the magic, moved the pain from him, and then something else. It was very painful. Move on to the next part of the story. Or you could say, the character is hesitant to use the magic and is trying to find some other way around his problem, because he doesn't want to feel that pain. Yeah. Or maybe this could be used for a lot of good character building, where maybe he goes to take away somebody's pain, but this person that he's about to go and help turns out to be somebody who he really hates, or maybe this person tried to kill him at some point in time. Maybe this person tried to kill him. He fought back, stabbed the guy, and now he wants to. And now he has a choice: do I take away the guy who tried to hurt me's pain and show some mercy and compassion towards him, or do I let him suffer?
Wow, you know what? You're so much nicer. My thought was that was like something that this character could do is that they could hurt themselves and then inflict that pain on someone else. So like if someone's really bugging
Oh,
you, like,
that's
oh, don't
clever.
you? And you just like cut yourself open, and then it heals on you and starts forming on them, because that's something they can do. But of course you feel the pain, and you feel the pain of it healing like super fast. But like at the same time, that person now has a huge gash and is bleeding out. I am so much darker in my writing than you are. Like, that was the scene I wrote that inspired this idea. Was that scene was someone standing there and they cut their arm, and then they watched and like felt all that pain, and then just focused it in and essentially killed someone else.
So yeah, another limiting factor with something like this is
How much
once
pain
they cut their arm, now the person charging them has an opportunity to attack them while they're in pain and try to focus their magic.
Yeah.
You see, so even something like this, it does have a limiting factor, and you can go. You could just say throughout your story, he cut himself and then he hurt the opponent day one, or you could use this as an advantage to storytelling, make the character hesitant to use it sometimes.
Make them seem really mental and evil for using it.
Yeah.
Like there's something very sadistic about being willing to slice yourself open and just staring intently on someone and wishing your pain to be on them, and then actually being like, that is a dark hero right there, or maybe not even a hero. I don't know. I haven't decided.
I could see that being a villain.
Yeah, it's a person. It's a person in my head, and it's a person in progress. I don't know where this person is going.
Cultist.
Well, I don't see that personally.
I don't know. That's for some reason what came to my mind.
Well, you have fun with your Satan cultist. I'm going to develop this person myself and decide on the path. I need to walk with them. Something my professor taught me that was super duper helpful in creating characters. This is off topic, but I want to share it anyways. Is the idea of walking with your characters. So you imagine your characters beside you. You have a person. I have a bunch of characters that follow me 24/7. It's a bit off-putting, but you know, they're there. And you get to watch them interact with things you're interacting. You can have conversations with them. Your life is no longer lonely, but everyone thinks you're mad. And, you know, and that's how I develop characters now, is through that. And it's fun. You should try it.
So it's like having imaginary friends.
Yeah. Except one of them wants to kill me constantly, but otherwise, yeah. I don't know why she's still here. I wrote her short story already, but then they don't leave. That's the problem. You could be done with the story.
It's like, is it a picnic? No. Is it nice to have company sometimes? Yes.
Are they always the most pleasant to your company? No. Half of them are depressed. A few of them are ghosts. One's a demon, but we don't talk about him.
Okay, so back to magic system.
Yeah.
So so you can make an interesting magic system in a lot of different ways. You need to figure out your rules for the magic system. Remember, if it's a soft magic system and you said X causes Y, you now have to stick to that rule.
Please. Unless
you come in and say no, because Z cancels out X, so X no longer works.
Yeah, that's allowed.
That's why the characters don't use it.
Yep. Or you just delete X through a means that is exciting. Like in Harry Potter, the time turner had broken after the adventure, and that was the only one there was. We would have stopped questioning why the time turner never showed back up. It was such an easy
fix.
That's
all you would have to do. Just say it's a one-use item.
Or no, it couldn't be for the point of the story, but like break it at the end.
Yeah, or somehow cause it to be broken. The villain storms in and destroys it, or some bumbling idiot just bumps into it and it falls off the table and shatters.
Yeah, or just do something.
I don't know how delicate time turners are. I, again, did not watch.
It's a
The,
glass, so it could break.
I figured. I was pretty sure it was an hourglass.
It's an hourglass. It's like a little locket thing. They're really pretty, like the replicas.
Ooh.
Just saying. You can get them on
Okay.
Wish really cheap, and apparently they have decent quality.
Huh.
Just throwing that out there.
Anyway, so creating hard magic systems. We didn't really talk about this.
Alright, you've got 20 minutes.
Okay, so hard magic systems are
A lot of work.
much more rigid. They're a lot of work. They
Spreadsheets.
require a lot of thought and
Spreadsheets.
making sure that there's no plot holes in your magic system. You gotta make sure they're not too convenient, but also not too inconvenient. If you want an idea of how to create a hard magic system, you could go and maybe watch our episode on actually any of our episodes involving time travel
Oh my god.
or time warping or memory jumping.
Memory
Time Travels Through You
elevator.
episode.
Yeah, we have a time traveler one, which I don't even know what it's called, but we have a time travel episode,
I don't
and we have
remember.
the
Time
elevator
Travels Through
one.
You.
Yeah, time travels through you, and then the elevator one,
Yeah,
which is
the
our
Time
first.
Travels Through You one.
Is a
That one we
hard
spent
magic.
a lot of time. It's a lot of time making sure that there were no plot holes in our magic
Yeah,
system.
then we threw in the pregnant woman, and we were just like, well, we're so
Yeah,
close.
There's a lot that went into that magic system. Most of that world is the magic system. That was pretty much the entire world that we built. So you could go and watch that episode, or listen to that rather.
And then if you want
to
like an
see
example of soft magic, the Narwhal world, and then the one after the Narwhal, making the Narwhal world make sense, watch both, so that way you have like reference of how like two very, like one is extremely soft, like stupidly soft, like to the point where it was unreadable, and then we made it into, it's still a very soft magic system, like the narwhals can still do anything you want, but you could see us like brainstorming and how like even a soft magic world is never really as soft as you think, because as much as we have these narwhals that can grant every wish you want, we had to put in rules and regulations so no one wished for the destruction of the world.
Okay, but here's like even like that very first narwhal world. That I will say this: that world was a joke.
It was.
I just showed up one day and was like, "Hey, Casey, today we're building a world with flying narwhals that have candy, rock candy horns and sugar crystal flippers that have rainbowy colors shining through them, and wingless cotton candy birds, candy corn bees,
lemonade
and
rain
also
that
the
was
normal
literally
throw
torture
potatoes.
to the poor birds.
It was so much fun, and that is an example of a soft magic system that really doesn't have rules. At least the first version didn't, because I was really just making stuff up as I went along.
And honestly, we still came up
the
with a pretty good
rules-
story from it somehow. Like, because
Yeah,
I turned
somehow.
into literally the episode. If you're curious, like how it turned out, the episode turned into me trying to be Isaac using his own soft magic, because he had rules. Like the narwhal, you made a wish and it came true, and you had to live by that wish. So I was slowly coming up with ways to break his world until it kind of made sense, and then I was living peacefully on an island with my flightless bee farm, completely safe from all harm, and with my narwhal best friend. So like
Until I introduced the tornado.
I made that my friend too. You forgot about that.
Oh, you befriended the tornado?
I did. If we listened to
I don't
it.
remember that part. Yeah, apparently you can befriend tornadoes in this world.
You could do whatever.
Some magic systems are weird.
You made it.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a lot of examples of like hard and soft magic, and honestly just reading, as if with all writing, like always reading literature or watching. I'm a firm believer that you can also get like writing skills from watching videos and TV and stuff like that too. Like any form of media is a good way to gain writing skills. So watch a lot of that and like learn
Even
from
the
it.
bad stuff.
Even
Like
the
one
bad
of the
stuff.
things you can do is you can look at something that was done poorly, and it's not very often you can know something was done poorly but not know why. So what you do is you look at it and you say, okay, what about this made it so that I didn't enjoy it? Why is like when this character died, why did I not like this character? Why did I not like this character's death? And
Example. I have an example. The Star
okay, go
Wars
ahead.
Christmas special. Uh, it introduced a weird teleporting device that is activated once a year that was never used again.
Yes.
What the heck was up with that?
The lantern teleporting snow globe things that dresses Wookiees in robes and has them walk into the sun.
Or
It is
TV and like a
weird.
TV series of like Han Solo. The only good part of the thing, like that they're so famous they have TV series about them, which you can apparently watch while the enemy is stalking around your house, and you know you won't have any trouble whatsoever. Like no issue.
The holiday special was so messed up, so wrong,
You can
so
learn
ridiculous.
a lot from the holiday special.
Go watch it. Go grab some friends and go watch it. Do not watch it by yourself. Go watch it with a group of friends. Grab some snacks, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you definitely need to go watch it with a group of friends. Unless you're concerned about Star Wars being ruined for you for all time.
Oh no, just don't.
Just know, George Lucas wanted this movie to happen. But
also note that the
he now
Mandalorian
regrets it.
made it canon.
Oh yeah, the Mandalorian referenced it, and
Yeah.
it's canon now.
Yep.
Ugh. Why?
Yet they still won't put it on
Maybe
Disney
the
Plus.
holiday is canon, but the episode is not. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
I'm
the
okay
case.
Anyways, we've run out of time. So
All right. Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
covered
The
just
basics.
about all the
basic.
important
This
stuff.
is the basic of world building. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like basic overview of magic systems.
Yep.
We could go into more detail, but that would require doing stuff like breaking down individual magic systems, and that we'll spend all day talking about bending.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe a future episode that'll be like something we do. But next week we go back to the classic world building, and then next month I get to pick the theme of our basic world building basics series. And I already have one in mind, so I will make sure to have my notes written down, seeing as I have a month.
All right.
So I will have an outline down and lead the discussion for that. So hopefully you'll join us for all our future world buildings as well as our world basics. And yeah, we will see you next week. Bye.
Magic in the air. I don't remember the rest of the song.